Welcome to the My Opinion Podcast, a show that focuses on leadership, life, and love to empower women around the world to be the best versions of themselves. The My Opinion Podcast is a weekly show with Maya's Motivation Monday, focusing on leadership topics for women, and special edition episodes that feature guest interviews and current events. Now, all in her opinion, here is your host, Maya Roffler.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Maya's Motivation Monday. I am super excited to be coming to you from my new pad and my new office and my new recording space. Everything is still kind of being set up though, so we might have some background noise today, so not like we usually do, so hang with me through this episode. I know you will. I appreciate you guys listening to all these seasons and continuing to be fans. And let's just jump into it. I am also excited to talk about this topic today. I am talking today about how to handle bullying as a leader. I literally say that and it breaks my heart because bullying is a topic that I think we should talk more about in the mentorship of leaders or future leaders in general, and I feel like we just don't. And when you look up articles about bullying and how leaders should handle it, prevent it, all of that, they're quite recent, a lot of these articles, which makes me feel happy and inspired and great about, and I'm so happy to be talking about it today. But it also saddens me because why are we just now talking about this? This has been going on for so long, but that's like many topics right now, and this is an awakening for us. So let's talk about it, and let's talk about why this is so important. And we're going to talk about two different sides of this today. So how should leaders handle bullying in the workplace, in their company, when it's occurring? But then also, how can it be prevented as a leader? So let's talk about both sides. So first and foremost, how should leaders handle bullying in the workplace if it's occurring? Well, one of the first things I ask a leader to reflect on is his or her own behavior. And that can be a little shocking to them when I'm coaching them or I'm leading that particular individual and they report to me, or again, if it's a coaching situation, whatever our relationship is, I ask them to reflect on themselves first. And it's pretty typical that they'll get defensive and say something to the effect of, oh, I'm not the problem. No, this is not me. Or, oh gosh, no, this isn't about me. Or, oh, well, I'm not a bully. Or, I'm not mean. I've never been mean. Or, I don't do those things. But drop the defense as a leader is kind of within this first step is what I'm talking about here. Because sometimes they are the problem. And it's not that they are like the worst leader in the world, or, they've done something horribly wrong and they've been this terrible big bully. But sometimes something that might seem very small to us, or might seem like something in jest or something lighthearted, might not be as lighthearted to someone else. And I mean that to say, like, we're an example for our team. And so we might be really upbeat, and we might be really uplifting. And so our sarcastic comments or our humor might come off one way. But when one of our employees who doesn't have the same type of personality tries to mimic that, it's not going to come off the same way. And we've now shown our employees that's our culture. So that's just a very high level example of my first step into why we need to self-reflect. Very rapidly, very quickly. All of these things need to happen quickly. So I need you to think about when bullying has happened. Step back, self-reflect, think through. Have I done anything that it mimics these behaviors that have happened? And I'm using the sarcastic thing because I think this happens often. But have I taken sarcasm too far? Have I done these things? Don't beat yourself up, but really think about it. Like, have I created a culture? Have I picked on this individual myself? Have I done these? Think about it, analyze, reflect. And then dive deep. Have you built a culture that supports or tolerates this kind of behavior? Meaning you accept it. Have you displayed this behavior yourself? Did you not even realize it until this moment? Self-reflection. And this happens, guys, when I'm having these conversations. It happens when I'm coaching. Did it get corrected when you realized it? Maybe you did realize it before this and you didn't correct it. The most important part is we're all human. Even leaders, guys, we're all human. So when you made a mistake, did you take accountability for that mistake? Self-reflection has to happen immediately when this is brought to your attention or you recognize that it's happening, and rapidly when bullying occurs, so that you can put an end to this, but really look within yourself to make sure that you're not the root cause of it. And that can be uncomfortable and difficult sometimes. But whether you've identified if you were ever the issue and then took accountability for it or apologized or recorrected the behavior, or if you're certain that this behavior really didn't come from you and it's not a product from you or the environment that you've created, we dig deeper. We even go deeper regardless. So the next step in this process, one, I want to clarify before we go there, we know bullying is always wrong. Always wrong. But we now need to know in this next second step, why has this been happening? Or why has this been allowed to happen? Because remember, it depends. I mean, some of us listening to this are leaders that have a team underneath us, and that's our team, and we own a small company. Some of us have layers on layers on layers. So we have to self-reflect on another level and think, how has this been allowed to happen? Where did the disconnect happen on the company culture? We need to understand and dig deep and essentially get to the know. Get to the facts as quickly as possible. This is a very quick 3-step process. So get to the know. We need to understand why this is happening, because if it's not a reflection of your behavior, because everything trickles down from the top. So we need to find out, where is it coming from then? It's trickling from somewhere. Who is that link? But why? The who, what, when, where, why. I love my W's. You guys know that. So what's going on? And let's get to that quickly. Let's get to the know and the facts as quickly as possible, because we want to remove that negativity and this negative bullying from our environment, because it creates the culture that we do not want. And the most important part of an existing bullying, I hate to say culture, but if it could become a culture if you're allowing it to occur. But bullying in the work environment, if it's going on, the next step is to address it. And we know this. Address it. You have to address the issue head on with the individual, or perhaps it's individuals, a group that are bullying. The bigger your company, the bigger the issue might be, because the culture can rapidly grow in the wrong direction, unfortunately. And sometimes the behavior can be corrected. It depends on the situation, and that's what the goal truly is, because you hope as a leader that the individuals that you're leading and so on and so forth and down and down and down are picking the right people. But as we talk about on other podcasts and other blogs and other things we've chatted about, sometimes it's not the right fit. It's not the right fit culturally. We decide there's other paths, and that's okay, but we need to identify and eliminate and remove so everyone's happy and everyone can move on with their purpose very quickly. So unfortunately, termination is often the result of these behaviors, because you're showing as a leader that you don't tolerate this type of behavior, and that's okay. And I often feel like leaders that I have mentored and leaders that have reported to me all these different relationships I've had with leaders, they sometimes have a hesitancy with this and they want to give too many chances. And I caution that, not just because I feel like they need to make an example out of those individuals, because it's not making an example out of them. It's showing that you believe in your company culture and you believe in preserving that and you believe in respecting your people. That is very important, but you are not going to tolerate that behavior. And when other individuals that report to you or are a part of your company in general are watching you tolerate that behavior, then they know they can take advantage. And as a leader, you have to show who you are and what you stand for so early on. And it's in these moments that you get tested. And it's in these moments that people watch you. Even if they're not the bullies, they're watching how you react. And if they are like, oh, well, you know what? Betsy, she just bullied all the girls there and she just got a slap on the wrist, so I know I'm never going to get in trouble. That's not the company culture I want. I want individuals to know that they're going to be respected. I have their back. This is a place where they can feel comfortable. They are going to succeed when they show up. They work hard, and we all have professional, positive relationships. And when it starts to feel convoluted and they don't understand the culture, that's when things go awry. So it's how you want to lead. It's how you want to set that example. And so it's not just making an example out of one person so others fall in line. It's really setting the standard for your company culture in general with these situations. And I think one of the most important points of this as well is that you're showing your team that you respect them and that you will defend them, and they don't have to worry about being disrespected and feeling uncomfortable in the workplace. So let's look at the other side. What can leaders do to prevent bullying? This sounds obvious, but it doesn't happen all the time. We need to set standards as leaders for the culture and ensure everyone on the team, your company, division, whatever you're leading, knows the rules and standards that you want them to adhere to. Leave no room for gray areas or interpretations on their own. Make sure it's very clear. Be open to the questions that they have. And when people are falling out of line or maybe teetering, put them back in their place. Maybe when that joke goes too far, let them know. Whatever it is, you need to always be confronting that. It doesn't mean keeping bullying in check doesn't mean that you are waiting until, someone's feeling completely attacked or uncomfortable at work. You're keeping that company culture. You're making sure that it's in line, it's in check at all times. So don't wait for it to go that far as a leader. Lead by example. It sounds simple, I know, but remember, you're the boss by title, but you become the leader through your actions, and they will follow your lead. Just make sure you're leading them in the right direction. So we're all going to make mistakes. I've made a million mistakes in my life, but take accountability. So if you maybe say a joke and maybe that wasn't the best joke, or maybe you're a little sarcastic or you're a little short with someone in a way that wasn't appropriate, take accountability for it, apologize for it, deal with things the appropriate way in the way you want your culture of your company to be and the way you want things to be handled at your company and or in your division, whatever it is that you're leading. Because you want to set the standard, not just by setting it, by telling it. Then you're going to the next level, show it and lead it. And then the third step, we really talked about this already, but nip it. Nip it, nip it, nip it. When you see it, address it right away and show through example that it's not tolerated. So just like we got done talking about that, when bullying happens, we want to make sure that we nip it in the bud. But I'm talking about when we see little behaviors that might be going that direction, nip it then. Don't let it get that far. This will also empower and ease your team, knowing that they can come to you if, God forbid, they are a victim of really constant and horrible bullying. They're going to feel comfortable because they know you don't tolerate that. I know that if I see that kind of behavior going on, I'm like, no, stop. We're done. We don't handle things like that here. We're going to speak respectfully to each other. That ends. I'm setting that standard in our board meeting, whatever we're talking about. So if that's going on behind closed doors between two directors or VPs, they're screaming at each other, however they're behaving, I want one of them, the one that's feeling disrespected, or, if they're both feeling disrespected, however it's going, to feel comfortable coming to me and expressing that to me. And if they've seen that I don't tolerate that behavior and I nip it, then I feel confident that they will feel comfortable coming to me because I don't tolerate it, and that's not my company culture. And if they're a victim of bullying, they'll know that you're going to be their advocate.
Thank you so much for listening to the My Opinion Podcast. You can catch up on past episodes on the My Opinion Podcast website at www.myopinionpodcast.com, as well as read the My Opinion blog and contact Maya directly with your questions. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at My Opinion Podcast and Maya Roffler. We'll see you back here next week.